The smoke curled low over the crater, thick and bitter, clinging to the ground like a living thing. Kelly Varn pressed her palm to the scorched soil, feeling the heat pulse beneath her fingers. The wreckage smoldered, jagged metal strewn in a circle of impact. Trees had been flattened in a perfect ring. Birds had fled hours ago. The air still trembled with the memory of impact. No ship registered. No mayday on public frequencies. No compact insignia. Kelly crouched by the twisted fuselage, her healer's kit humming quietly at her hip. Her neural nodes flared with unease. There, near the half-buried wing, movement. A hand, dark with soot and blood, dragged across the gravel. Not Siluran. Not Traskari. Too dense, too rough-skinned. Then she saw his face. Half covered in blood, burned along one side, but unmistakably human. The kind of human they only saw in archived footage, grainy security feeds, or distant treaty conferences. Thick-boned. Scarred. Alive. His left eye opened, locked onto her, and then shut again. She should have called it in. That was protocol: unknown wreck, unauthorized landing, unidentified species. Report first, act later. But her fingers moved on instinct. She injected stabilizer near the jugular, pressed a dermal patch over the collapsed lung, scanned for internal hemorrhaging. "You're not supposed to be here," she whispered. The human coughed once, a dry, rattling sound. "Didn't plan on it." She blinked. His voice was gravel and steel, low but unmistakably alert. "Name?" she asked, adjusting the bone regenerator. "No time," he rasped. "Don't send a signal. They'll hear it." "I already pinged Medcom when I landed," she admitted. He tried to rise. Couldn't. Blood soaked through her patch. "You don't understand," he said. "If they think I'm captured, they'll come." She hesitated. "Who will?" He looked at her like she'd asked where gravity came from. "Earth." By nightfall, he was in her private med bay, deep beneath her quarters on the outskirts of Varela's capital spires. The central hospital would have flagged his DNA before she even wheeled him in. The council didn't allow foreign bodies, especially human ones, inside official channels. Varela prided itself on its neutrality, its distance from death world drama. Kelly ran the scans herself. 3 shattered ribs. Liver lacerated. Tibia cracked. Multiple contusions. And yet, he lived. His organs fought back harder than any patient she'd treated. His blood reoxygenated at twice the recovery rate. The med gel hissed as it sealed skin that shouldn't have closed yet. But it wasn't his body that unsettled her. It was his stillness. His eyes barely opened, but when they did, he was cataloging everything. Exit paths. Equipment layout. Her movement patterns. "Do you have a name?" she asked again. He hesitated, then said, "Roan." She nodded. "Roan, I'm Kelly. I'm a healer. You crashed. I don't know why or how, but..." "Extraction point was hot," he muttered. "Shot down. Couldn't reroute in time." She leaned in. "Military?" He didn't answer. But the way his muscles tensed told her enough. "You're safe now," she said. "No," he replied. "You're not." She activated a secure cloak over the facility. Power drain was steep, but necessary. A single compact drone sweep could trigger an investigation. If they found him here, her license would be revoked. Maybe worse. That night, she ran a full genetic panel. Cross-referenced it with known Earthborn templates. What came back wasn't a soldier. Roan was a rescue operative. His record, though heavily redacted, included biotags from extraction teams assigned to deep conflict zones. His entire file was flagged Ironheart, a human military code she didn't recognize. Kelly sat alone in her quarters, staring at the dark screen. What had she brought into her world? Roan woke screaming. Kelly rushed in, scanner in hand. His eyes darted wildly, searching corners. She activated soft lighting. Nightmare, she said gently. No, he growled. Contact. Long-range burst. You sent a signal. I used private comms, nothing public. They're still listening. His body shook. Not from pain, but from something deeper. Anticipation. Kelly lowered her voice. Who's listening, Roan? He exhaled, long and slow. You saved me. That's the problem. I don't understand. You will. 2 mornings later, Varella's outer satellites picked up a gravity wake. No weapons fired. No fleet broadcast. But a presence entered system space. Uninvited. Massive. 1 dreadnought. 3 hospital ships. Dozens of escorts. No flags. No war drums. Just Earth. And they were coming. Fast. By the time the Council convened, Earth's fleet was already visible in Varella's upper orbit. No communications, no demands, just quiet, coordinated movement. Their flagship loomed like a floating citadel, silent and patient, casting a shadow across the polar skies. Inside the grand chamber, the air was sharp with tension. The circular hall echoed with whispers, boots on stone, datapads flicking between scans and threat assessments. Kelly stood at the rear, robes singed from sleepless nights, heart thudding louder than any gavel. Prefect Zalran Mar addressed the room with coiled poise, his scaled tail swaying once with each phrase. An unidentified human vessel crashed 5 days ago. Against Council protocol, healer Kelly Varn retrieved the occupant without notification or sanction. That human is now confirmed to be part of Earth's classified rescue division. He paused, his yellow eyes resting on her. And now Earth has arrived. Not with words. With warships. Kelly stepped forward. Not a single weapon has been powered. No threats. No invasions. They've come for their own. That's all. Spoken like someone who doesn't understand what Deathworlders are capable of, Zalran said calmly. We've maintained neutrality for 2 centuries. This breach, jeopardizes everything. It wasn't a breach, she said. It was a life. A living being, bleeding out in a crater. I followed my oath. Your oath is not above planetary law. Counselor Van Lisa, the soft-spoken Araxi diplomat, raised a hand. Let us speak plainly. Earth has not made contact. They haven't issued demands. But they've positioned themselves with clarity. The human must be important. Kelly nodded. He is. Not because of his rank or purpose. But because he's one of them. That's all it takes. Exactly, Zalran snapped. That's the danger. 1 life, and they send an armada. Imagine what they'd do if we detained him. Another counselor, Kelray of the Merchant Caste, tapped his data slate. Trade routes are already slowing. Neighboring systems are on alert. Varela can't afford this pressure. I propose we hand the human over. Respectfully. Publicly. Make it clear we had no intention of hiding him. Kelly clenched her jaw. That would be a mistake. Zalran smirked. Because you speak for Earth now? I don't speak for them. But I've seen the way Rome reacts. His injuries are nothing compared to the weight he carries. He's not afraid for himself. He's afraid for us. Later that night, back in her medbay, Kelly sat beside Roan's cot. His breathing had steadied. He watched her through half-lidded eyes. They're scared, she said. He gave a slow nod. They should be. They think Earth's here to intimidate. That they'll back off if we return you quietly. Roan's lip curled. Not a smile. Not quite. We don't escalate first, he said. We retrieve. That's our doctrine. And if the Council refuses? His gaze turned sharp. Then it stops being retrieval. Kelly looked away. I'm not sure they'll believe that. They don't need to believe, Roan murmured. They just need to decide which side of history they want to be on. The next morning, a ship from Earth descended without permission. Not a warcraft, but a long, sleek medical vessel bearing no weapons. It slowed over the capital's landing tier and rested on its grav pads like it had always belonged. Two figures stepped out, both human. One wore the white and silver of Earth's diplomatic corps. The other was armored in obsidian black, not ornamental, not concealed. Kelly stood in the crowd that formed at the edge of the plaza. Dozens of security personnel lined the causeway, weapons holstered but hands twitching. The human diplomat raised her voice, calm but commanding. "We are not here to negotiate. We are here to retrieve our operative. His name is Ron Elijah Cade, and he is alive because of one of your own." Gasps passed through the onlookers. The armored human stepped forward next, helmet off, his face hard with discipline. His voice carried not through amplification, but certainty. He was injured. Isolated. And yet he was not abandoned. That alone merits Earth's gratitude. Zauren Mar appeared from the council arch, his steps slow, deliberate. He gestured for a private meeting. The emergency session was smaller, tighter. Kelly was summoned but not given voice. The Earth diplomat's name was Lorna Reyes. Her expression never changed. "We appreciate Varella's assistance," she said. "But time is not a luxury we indulge." Zauren folded his hands. "Our laws were broken. We require guarantees that this intervention will not extend beyond retrieval." "You misunderstand," Reyes replied. "This is not an intervention. It's a promise. No human, anywhere, is ever left behind. That's not politics. That's identity." Zauren leaned forward. "And if we had refused you landing rights?" Reyes's smile didn't reach her eyes. "We would have landed anyway." Back in her quarters, Kelly watched as Earth's fleet adjusted formation. Not to attack, but to shield. For the first time in generations, Varela was under someone else's shadow. And all because she had refused to let one human die alone. Kelly Varn stood at the border of the landing tier, Roan leaning against her shoulder, his weight solid but weakening. His legs trembled under the pressure of each step. She had refused a hover stretcher. He had insisted on walking. Behind them, sirens pulsed low across the city, a signal, not of war, but of tension wound too tight to hold much longer. Ahead, Earth's retrieval team waited. For medics, 2 guards, and Lorna Reyes herself. They hadn't moved from the platform since their arrival. They didn't need to. Presence was power. Roan slowed. "I can make it the rest of the way." "You can barely breathe," Kelly said softly. "I can breathe enough." They moved together, measured, deliberate. Each step forward meant a dozen debates closed behind them. Council factions still fought behind closed doors, but decisions had been made. Not by decree. By inevitability. Roan was going home. As they approached, the guards stepped aside. One of the medics began scanning Roan's vitals, another gently removed the emergency bindings around his ribs. Lorna met Kelly's gaze. "We're grateful." Kelly shook her head. "I didn't do it for gratitude." "You didn't," Lorna agreed. "That's why it mattered." Roan didn't speak. He was watching the sky above, watching his fleet hold orbit like a wall. Then, movement at the far end of the landing platform. Zauren Mar arrived with a full security detail. His stride was sharp, tail flicking once as he stopped just shy of the humans. "You're violating protocol," he said. Reyes replied without turning. "You've already chosen not to stop us. You haven't been cleared to extract him yet." The vote was inconclusive. Reyes gave a slight nod. "Votes are for people who still have time." Zauren's hand twitched. Guards moved forward. "Don't," Roan rasped. "Please." Kelly stepped between them. "He's leaving. He's injured. He doesn't belong in your prison." Zauren's voice dropped. "You overstepped, healer. I saved a life." You invited a reckoning. Reyes finally turned. Then reckon with me. For one heartbeat, no one moved. Then, soft sound, distant and growing louder. Above, Earth's dreadnought shifted orientation. Its underside panels glowed, not with weapons, but with shield arrays. Dozens of escort ships matched its position, slowly rotating, forming a grid between Varella's planetary defense cannons and the landing tier. Kelly looked up. She wasn't a soldier, but she understood formation. They weren't aiming at Varella. They were shielding her. Zauren looked around. His soldiers watched the sky. His orders hung unspoken. Finally, he turned his gaze back to her. You'll be stripped of your title. Kelly exhaled. Then strip it. Roan reached out, catching her hand. His grip was weak, but steady. You don't have to come. I know. You'll be watched. Labeled a traitor. I know that too. He studied her for a moment longer. But you're still coming? Yes. They boarded the Earth medical ship in silence. The moment they stepped inside, the tension outside became irrelevant. The hatch sealed. Internal gravity adjusted. Atmosphere normalized. A medic led Roan down the corridor while Reyes and Kelly followed. The walls were smooth, matte black, lit only by pulsing blue strips. No logos. No flags. Only purpose. Why me? Kelly asked. Why did he matter so much to Earth? Reyes didn't look at her. We don't weigh worth by role. He mattered because he was one of ours. That's the beginning and end of it. That loyalty is our species' greatest strength. And greatest warning. They turned a corner. Ahead, a viewing deck stretched across the bow of the ship. Through reinforced glass, Varella's skies burned gold with its twin moons rising. Kelly stepped forward, pressing a hand to the glass. You know, Reyes said quietly, what you did may change everything. How? Because now, someone from this planet knows what it feels like to be defended without condition. The ship lifted. No sound. No jolt. Just motion. From orbit, Varella shimmered in green and blue, small and proud, unaware of the fault lines forming beneath its politics. Kelly sat beside Roan in the med bay, watching the planet shrink. I never asked why you crashed, she said. He managed a half-smile. Wrong place, right mission. You came for someone else? He nodded. Extraction run for a missing diplomat. Ended up needing extraction myself. She frowned. So Earth sent all this, for a retrieval specialist? Roan looked at her, eyes clear now. They would have sent more. Behind them, Varella's orbit cleared. Earth's fleet turned together, one elegant motion. No threats. No retaliation. Just one message, unspoken, but understood across every system now watching. You protect one of ours, and we protect you. The med bay lights dimmed to mimic Earth's evening cycle. Roan lay in a stabilized pod, his vitals steady for the first time in days. Tubes lined his arms, biofoam sealed the worst of his internal injuries, and a neural assist gently mapped the damage across his spine. He hadn't spoken in hours, and Kelly didn't expect him to anytime soon. His body was still catching up to what his mind had survived. She stood nearby, staring out a narrow viewport. Earth wasn't visible yet, just the distant glow of Sol, pale, unfamiliar, yet oddly inviting. She barely noticed when Lorna Reyes entered. The diplomat walked without sound, as if even her presence had been surgically measured for precision. You're adjusting quickly, Reyes said, folding her arms. I don't have the luxury of hesitation. Not many do, Reyes agreed. Most species require entire generations to cross the line you crossed in a week. Kelly didn't answer right away. Her gaze remained fixed on the stars. Reyes stepped closer. Do you regret it? No, Kelly said. But I understand the cost now. Not in political terms. Personal ones. She turned finally. On Varela, I was a healer. Trusted. Protected. Now I'm an exile. My name will be buried beneath regulations. Reyes studied her. Then why did you come? Because there's something stronger than status, Kelly replied. And I saw it. In him. In your fleet. Loyalty like that, it's not just policy. It's personal. Reyes gave a slow nod. You're not wrong. It's our most sacred bond. But it has weight. It follows you. Sometimes, it demands everything. Later, Kelly sat alone in the observation deck. The corridor was dark except for the glow of passing debris and the occasional flicker from Earth's long-range outposts. She could feel the hum of the engines beneath her seat, like a pulse stretching through the hull. Roan entered slowly, walking without aid this time. The stiffness was there, but the strength had returned to his frame. He slid onto the bench beside her, exhaling with care. You look better, she said. He gave a dry chuckle. Feel worse? That's normal. They sat in silence for a moment. No monitors. No council chambers. Just the dark between stars. Roan broke the stillness. You gave up everything. Kelly nodded. And you'd have done the same. He didn't deny it. You never even asked if I wanted to be involved, she said. Didn't have to. You acted before I could speak. That's not usually how diplomacy works. Roan's eyes narrowed, a flicker of something unreadable behind them. Diplomacy didn't save me. You did. They reached Earth orbit 72 hours later. The sight stole her breath. Blue oceans, massive storm systems rotating in hypnotic spirals, entire continents lit by cityscapes. But it wasn't just the planet itself, it was what surrounded it. Stations. Defense arrays. Agricultural rings. Civilian ships the size of her former council hall. And near the Terminator line, Earth's largest orbital hospital, Sanctum Prime. As their shuttle descended toward it, Kelly leaned toward the viewport. You thought we were monsters, Roan said beside her. Not accusing, just observant. I thought you were distant. Cold. Efficient to the point of cruelty. And now? I think you're more dangerous because you're the opposite. He looked at her. We don't start wars. But we end them. Sanctum Prime welcomed them with surgical precision. Roan was taken for full neurological restoration. Kelly was assigned temporary quarters in the diplomatic wing. No restraints. No escorts. Just a soft-voiced AI and a view of the Pacific Curve below. She found herself unable to sleep. Her thoughts moved too fast. What now? Was she a guest? A political symbol? A problem? The knock on her door surprised her. It was Reyes. We've reviewed the transcripts from Varela, the diplomat said. And your med logs. Kelly braced for judgment. You'll be offered two options. Reyes extended a small tablet. First, she continued, we can return you to a neutral system. Discreetly. Clean record, no digital trace. You disappear. And the second? You stay. Kelly blinked. Stay? Join Earth's Interspecies Medical Corps. Officially. You'd work with humans. For humans. And for anyone we're allied with. Why? Because we need more like you. Because what you did, without being asked, without hesitation, is exactly what Earth values most. Kelly stared down at the tablet. Two icons. One closed door. One open gate. I'm not human, she said. No. But you acted like one when it mattered. 1 week later, the fleet dispersed. Roan was reassigned, cleared for limited duty. Before he left, he found her in the training bay, standing before a panel showing galactic distress zones. You're sure? He asked. Yes. They'll hate you for it. They already do. He handed her a small metallic insignia, a medical crest, etched with Earth's sigil at the center. "I didn't thank you," he said. "You didn't have to." Still, he reached out, gripped her shoulder firmly. "Welcome to Earth," Roan said. Kelly gave a faint smile. "Let's make it worth the trouble."